Hey, friends. As I said, I would be coming to you from northern Michigan, which is where I am. I've got the wood paneling to prove it. We made it. Reasonably long travel day, but all in one piece, all good. And it's almost ironic that yesterday I posted about being tired and being generous to myself and the kind of necessity of finding ways of rejuvenating ourselves, even when we don't want to diminish. I would say, even and especially when we don't want to diminish the enthusiasm and the energy with which we're pursuing life. Um, I spoke a little bit about how I feel like I'm somebody who I kind of tend to go accelerator to the floor until I then suddenly realize, oh, I'm out of gas. and my post yesterday was a little bit about that and recognizing that, and then basically positing a kind of a resolution or a challenge to myself to be generous and to give myself the grace that I need in order to continue giving energy in that way, and also to remain truly energized, to be able to recover after a great expenditure of energy. Well, I did that post and then proceeded to get under an hour of sleep, literally less than 60 minutes of sleep, before popping out of bed at 3 a.m. and beginning our travel day, which took us until 4 p.m. Eastern time before we finally arrived here. So now I really know. I really know about the necessity of recharging. But something else came through as well, because there were some moments today, some moments last night actually, which I'll go into in greater detail. There's a had kind of an event last night, in a psychic event that I'll talk about, but but what I'm going to talk about today is the way in which utter fatigue actually opened the door to insight. And, this is something that I have a really hard time seeking out on purpose. I think probably a lot of us do. What happens to us when we're utterly exhausted is of a different character. It's like I was. This is why I say it was ironic. I was so tired last night when I did my post. I was like at the end, just completely felt like I didn't have another ounce of gas to burn, and then I was up essentially all night, and then I had an all-day travel day today with a dog for the first time, and with a 3-hour drive at the end of it, where I drove the vehicle. And throughout today, because it was almost like comically, in a comically exaggerated level of fatigue that I had felt yesterday, I think I was capable of noticing, oh, this thing is actually coming, like showing up with real clarity. Like this thing in my life that I sometimes struggle to get to kind of go deep on is all of a sudden right here. I can't not see it. Oh, look over here. Here's another aspect of my life that when I have the energy to avoid it, I will. But it's right here. I don't have the energy to avoid it. I've had a kind of a string of those today. And I've known this for a while. It's an insight that has showed up for me before, but I'm cognizant today of how of the role that fatigue plays, the role that being truly at the end of your kind of energy, what that does to us, what state that puts us in, and what channels that opens in our mind and spirit. Quite a bit that can show up. And I think right now, as I kind of have alluded to, something showed up for me yesterday that it has to do with kind of the big picture of my life, really. I always want to say my career or my work life, but it's really even bigger than that. And around that, I'm seeing some tendencies and some habits. I'm just seeing ways that I am, ways that I go about life that are holding me back. And nothing like utter fatigue to let those things show up. It's almost like this gift. And I was able to sort of catch that today. I was able to say, okay, instead of resisting this, because at some point you kind of have to go, okay, I was trying to say I was worn out yesterday, but today the universe is giving me like a supercharged dose of that. Why? Am I going to assume something's wrong? Am I going to assume I'm off track? Or am I going to lean into this and let myself wake up into fatigue, waking up into fatigue, waking up within fatigue, maybe is the way to think about it, or waking up within tiredness, wakefulness within tiredness. It's a different character of wakefulness. It's actually more awake, ironically. And it's guiding me to it's guiding me to some things I really need to see and reckon with. because ultimately I think life has more in store for me than I'm currently accessing. So trying to listen to that, trying to feel that and receive it, accept it, embrace it, and try to understand it. But right now, I'm just tired. I'm just grateful for the tiredness that is offering this up to me. It's giving me this doorway, and hopefully, what I've gleaned here, my intention is to hold on to that tomorrow when I wake up, hopefully well rested, knock on wood, and not just go back to avoiding it because I've got the energy now, but actually carry it forward, see what it's really telling me. So that's where I am today, people. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.